Hi, babies. How are you? I hope everybody's doing well and staying dry and warm with all of this rain and snow we're getting on the East Coast. And I hope you have a good weekend. No matter what is going on outside, you can still have a good weekend. You know, go to the movies. Go see that Luther Vandross biopic. It was really good. It was kind of sad, but it was really good. Okay? I wish, there are days where I wish that I can really, really share my life, really, and where I've been and what I've done, and, but it's the internet, it's YouTube, it's the internet, you can't trust people, even some of the dolls, you can't trust them, thank God my true blue dolls follow me. Follow me. And I'm not talking about the ones that are in the bushes. I'm talking about the ones that actually follow me and leave comments. Those are my hearts. Those are my dolls. Those are my babies. But I wish that I could share, because Mother has lived, and I'm really, really considering writing a book. I really am, because my life has been so freaking... It's like a movie. Like, literally, it could be a movie, the stuff that I've been through. There's going to be some hard chapters, but there's going to be some fun, funny, interesting ones as well. That'll be a key to most of the dolls, okay? But one of the things that I don't think I will share in the book. And if I do, whatever. I know this is going to come back to bite me in the butt, that I even shared it. But anyway, it's whatever. Oh God. I had a situation, right? When I was a young adult. I was in my early 20s. I'd already started transitioning, I was in college and I worked. So I went to college, and this was like in the 90's. And at the time, I didn't have a computer. My family, I still lived at home. No, I didn't live at home. I was actually on my own then. Literally, but I didn't have a computer. No, I didn't have a computer then. No, I didn't have a computer now that I think about it. I was about 20. This was the early 90's. And, I had my own place. It was like a tiny little studio. And, but I made it home. It was beautiful to me. It was great to me. And it was a nice neighborhood too. I always wanted to, do a step up, an upgrade. So anyway, I used to love, because the university that I went to had it was the most beautiful university that I think I've ever seen. All of the buildings looked like little castles. Beautiful castles, like something out of a fairy tale. And at night, they were so beautiful. So whenever I had a term paper or any paper or anything like that, because I didn't have a computer, I would go to the computer lab at my school, one of the buildings at my school. And on the weekends, I used to love going, on the weekends. I would have to travel. And, at this point in my transition, I was passable for the most part, because I was in school. So I didn't really get clocked in school. I was only getting clocked by guys that were trans attracted, if that makes sense. Because all of the guys that were clocking me and letting me know that they knew what I was were all, I can't say they were chasers, because the girls there weren't a lot of us then. There really wasn't. And so, bitch, I used to have sex in that university and that college all the time. Oh, the boys were just on me. Okay. I think I had SEX in all of those buildings on that campus, but there was one building in particular, the science building, that bitch. Ooh. I'm gonna have to do another video about that, because that's just too much. I have to do another video on it, because that is a key. I had a whole routine and everything. It was always on the weekends, always a Saturday, and I knew that there were no cameras. And so, like I said, the boys, I would walk around that neighborhood. You know, it was Harlem. Okay, that's what I'll tell you. It was in Harlem. It was City College, the City College in New York. Okay, I can share that much. You know, because I'm leery. You know, you don't know who is watching and stalking you, who's your enemy. You know, it's not even just the ag thugs anymore. It's the dolls, you know, that are just whatever, sick. But you know, and just full of all this negative energy that will try to, you know, harm you or whatever, but I'm protected. The Lord said. Okay? Let me stop. Anyway, and I'm going to post this. I'm not going to edit it or anything. I said what I said. But, yes, that's another video about what I was doing on campus. But this particular day, and I think I'm doing this video because of everything that's going on in politics now. All of them trying to rescind the dolls' rights and stuff like that, and take it away and all this other stuff. So no, it just dawned on me. Like, I just was like, you know, I've had SEX with congressmen and politicians, big people, state representatives and stuff like that. So this particular afternoon, it was a Saturday afternoon, in the early 90's, and I traveled into Harlem to go to school just so that I can type up this paper. On the weekends, it was so beautiful. They would have fairs and things like that, or I forgot the name of that building that was like a major concert hall. It was just so much going on. It was so cool. It was, and I had a lot of friends in college. And then, you know, family members and stuff like that I would hang out with that lived close by or whatever. So this particular Saturday, I remember before I got to the school, I used to love to get a hero because I would always eat in a library. I would read a book, like one of the old periodicals, and read up on different historical things. And I would have my lunch. I would eat my lunch. So I would always get a hero, my favorite hero. I would always get 2 bags of potato chips because back then the potato chips was only 25 cents. I would get like a ginger ale, and I might get like either some butter cookies or like some chocolate donuts, you know, in the pack. You know, it was very, you know, like a ghetto hood kind of, you know, lunch. And before I go forward, to any of the dolls that have an issue with me, that don't like me, you can just get off my page. You know, because at this point, I would still defend you, you know, against the system. If you ever need me, I will still defend you, but I don't want to deal. And even then, like, I'm going to truly represent my girls. Even if I don't like you, and I know that you don't like me, I'm going to still represent you. I'm still going to try to fight for your rights too. I'm not that type of person that's going to try to hurt someone or try to, you know, report their pages. You know, I don't want to get into that. But, or anything like that, or anything that they try to do and say about you and little, you know, I'm not, you know, I needed to say that because I don't move like that. I really represent this community for real, even if I don't like you. You know, I'm going to still stand up for you because that's the type of woman I am. But back to my story. So I had bought my lunch, and I think ginger ale, and I think I sold you like the chocolate, you know, the chocolate donuts. You know, it was like 5 of them in a little pack. You know, very ghetto, whatever. And I was on a budget. You know, I was working. I stopped, you know, doing other things to make money. You know, I never really was into X work. I really wasn't into it heavy. You know, like, I knew my worth. You know, like, I wasn't, you know, I was always in relationships with guys that wanted, they gave me some money here and there, or they gave me money. You know, and like I said, I worked. I made a living, and I was able to take care of myself. So, this particular, I remember typing my paper out and doing what I needed to do. And I remember back then I used to save my papers on this little floppy disk. This was like way back in the day where people were just starting to use computers and stuff like that. And so I finished that. I remember going into the library to eat my lunch, even though you weren't supposed to. I did it anyway. So I remember getting a book or something, and I remember sitting by myself on a table because it wasn't really crowded that day, and eating my lunch and then reading, which is something I always loved to do. And then, you know, I remember leaving. I used to always carry my toothbrush, mouthwash, soaps, lotions. You know, I'm that type of girl. You know, I remember going into the bathroom and, you know, brushing my teeth, doing the mouthwash. You know, I don't like to eat and then just throw gum in my mouth. I like to really brush my teeth and make sure my teeth is good and all that other stuff, and the mouthwash or whatever. And then, you know, I would have my soaps and stuff, just make sure I was fresh. And so by this time, I'm leaving the university, like leaving the campus. And anyone that knows Harlem and knows the City College of New York, they would know that, well, that building where Puffy had the Stampede, you remember where the building, that was the science building, which is, my scandal. But anyway, so it was dark. I had left, and it was on a Saturday early evening. The sun had went down, and I was just gonna go home. And so I remember cutting through the science building and the administrative building. It's like a little path, and then it leads you to the other side behind the science building, and you're on St. Nicholas Terrace. And so I was walking. Now, mind you, all of the dolls and all of the GAY men, I need to come up with a clever name for them so that YouTube doesn't block this video from showing up in people's feeds. But let's just call them the Rainbow Men. The Rainbow Men. Let's call them the Rainbow Men, okay? So, all the Rainbow Men and the trans women, the dolls, know this strip from New York, especially from Harlem. It's a major cruising strip. It used to be a major cruising park, a major cruising strip. I never indulged in that park because it was so sinister and scary, and that just wasn't my scene. I was a girl. I was a woman, a young woman, and so I didn't have to do all that. But I would see some of the activities and the festivities from the terrace, okay? So I knew what was going on up in there, but I made sure not to get caught up in that because I know that the cops were raiding it periodically, whatever. So I'm walking down St. Nicholas Terrace. I remember looking so cute. My hair might have been up in a bun, a full bun, no bangs, no nothing, just a full bun. And I had on some hoops and just real pretty, right? And some guy, just as I was getting to the stairs, to walk down the stairs, some guy that I remember seeing on TV, like on the news, and I think he might have been on one of the, I remember seeing him on local, like on TV, on the news. I think he might have been on a few talk shows. He was a representative. He was I can't say what he was because I don't want people to go back and whatever, because he and I were cool. We lost contact, so I don't really want to put him on blast. But, he was a very big figure in New York politics back then. That's what I will say. He was a part of the government back then. So, I can't say what he did. So, I'm walking, and he sees me, and he's watching me walk up the strip to go to the stairs. And so, he's right by the stairs. Mama, he had a Mercedes convertible. I forgot. It was like one of the newer versions of Mercedes. It was just everything. And he was so handsome, and he looked way better in person. He was handsome on TV, but he was handsome, like, just beautiful in person. Right? So, he said something to me, and I started smiling. I forgot, it was so long ago. And he was like, wait a minute, hold on, why are you walking so fast? And he was a chaser, long story short, because he told me later on, because we dated a couple of times, that he wasn't sure that I was one of the dolls, but he just had this gut feeling. He said to me, because he actually took me out on dates, like to public dates. We went to Sylvia's once. He took me to some spot in the Village. Another time, he took me to another spot in Midtown Manhattan. So he clearly wasn't worried about me being clocked by other people. He just could tell. Like I said, there are some men that really they just know the dolls. They study us. They're so in tune. So anyway, he said he wasn't sure, but he was just like, wait a minute, where you going? I was like, I'm going home. He was like, you live around here? I told him no, I had to take the train home. And he was like, I can drive you. And I was like, I don't know you. And he was like, nah, you can get to know me. I'm a good person. I'm a good guy. And I was like, you a good guy. And I was like, I've seen you before. And then he told me what his title was. And I was like, that's where I've seen you before. So he told me what his title was in government. And so I kind of felt safer then getting into his car. And honestly, it was like that relationship with him, it was I was young. He was married. I was young. He was one of those young politicians that was married, and he would tell me all the time, you know, how his wife didn't. He would tell me all kinds of stuff about his wife. He would complain to me. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was doing a lot of emotional labor with him because he really would run things by me and ask my advice on something. Nothing political, but just other things. And he and I were friends. Like, even though I was, maybe 10 years younger than him, 10 years younger than him, he was still a good guy, right? So I get into his car. We were talking about music, which was always an icebreaker. We would talk about music and then our favorite singers and stuff like that. And I remember telling him he drove me to Riverside Drive, and it was like a little row, like a little strip there. It was like to the right was the Hudson River, but it was like a nice little lover's lane strip where cars are, right? And he parked the car, we started talking, and I told him my tea. And he said, I wasn't sure. He was like, but something told me that you were. Like, I don't know whether it's because I saw you somewhere before or whatever. He was like, nah, but it's okay. I think you're beautiful. You're all woman to me. And you know how with the stuff that they tell. And he was like, you're good. I just remember him saying, you're good. Like, because most people won't be able to tell. Like, I think I can tell because he was like, and even with you, I couldn't really tell. But I knew something, it was just like either I saw you before or, it was just something that let me know that, you might be one of the dolls, right? So he was like, I don't have no problem with that. Like, he said, like, I've been looking for one, like, for a long time. And he was like, the fact that you're in school and you work, because we were talking. He was like, I really, really want to get to know you. And I promise I'm not going to let anything happen to you. You're safe with me. If you need money, like, I can give you money. And I was like, yeah, like, I work and I go to school. And I'm trying to do all this myself. He was like, nah, I got you. And he was very generous. Now, he was someone of color. And he was handsome, worked out, and everything. He was a nice guy. Long story short, because I know I'm getting winded. I can go details for detail, but honey, we were getting it in. Okay. We weren't doing... All right, let me rephrase it. We were carrying, but we weren't carrying. Like, we were doing enough where I didn't have to come out my clothes, and neither did he. We just had to kind of like, maybe the pants will come down. Maybe my top will come up a little bit, but I didn't take it off because he used to say, he was like, we gotta be careful because of, whatever. Long story short, he's looking out my rear view mirror from the passenger side, and he sees, the COPS. Who's that just texted me? The COPS, the fuzz, 5-0, as they used to call them back then. Or the girls, we used to call them Miss Mag. Miss Mag, honey. Okay? To all of my dolls of a particular age, you know exactly what I'm saying. Okay? Baby! So we see Miss Mag, the COPS, in the rear view. And he's like, oh, shoot, fix yourself, pull yourself up, pull yourself down, put yourself up, right? Pull your panties up, whatever, your pants, whatever, right? Your jeans, down on jeans. And we did it real fast. And they drive alongside us. And this was a life lesson when I tell you about the privilege that these politicians have. Is he rolled down the window and these non-black COPS, Miss Mag, we're going to call the COPS Miss Mag. Miss Mag, they were white Miss Mag. She was white, Miss Mag. It was two of them. I remember my heart started beating. I was scared. And he rolled down his window, and all he had to do was show him his ID and like some sort of badge / and an ID. They asked no questions. They was like, have a nice night. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night. And they drove and was harassing someone else. Bitch. I was like, and I looked at him like, oh, you rock that. Okay, you rock that. And I just remember looking at him like, oh, he's my man now. Okay. He protected me because he showed me that I can protect, I just remember looking at him like, oh my God, because he showed me that he can protect me even with Miss Mag. And so I really, like, he and I actually had a really beautiful relationship. We just lost contact. After his, well, I'll tell you, I don't want to go that deep into it. But I remember he was like, that's a close call, right? And so once Miss Mag drove off, he wanted to finish. He was like, just don't, whatever. And so he finished. And long story short, he was giving me top. He was topping me off. And he was all on my breast. He was all on my bottom at the time. And he was in heaven. And he knew what to do. And all I know, I was just in a zone because here's this person that I've seen on TV. and he's down there pleasuring me. And he's handsome, and he smelled good, and he just, everything about it. So long story short, after we finished, right, he took me to Sylvia's to get food. And I remember I got bread pudding. And in my life, I probably only had bread pudding maybe 5 times. I remember I just started liking it because I remember I would go to my family's home. And, like, say if my mom had made some bread pudding, she would make some for me to go, to take home and whatever. And I just started to like it, with the rum and everything. And I remember he got me some bread pudding. I remember soul food. I'm sure it was macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, and greens, and cornbread, and potato salad. And he bought me all that stuff. And another time, he took me to Sylvia's to actually dine in, and they kind of rolled out the red carpet for him, and they really accommodated him, and we had fun, right? And he drove me home. And, every time after that, we would hang out. We would do certain things, like, out in public. But, like, whenever we wanted to be intimate, he would pay for a hotel that was on 44th. I'll never forget. It was on 44th between, what is that block? It's on 44th between, I want to say 7th and 6th, maybe, or between 6th and 5th. I forgot which hotel that was, but it was a really nice hotel. And yeah, so a lot of these politicians, these politicians, they have privilege. A lot of them, I would say at least half of them, they love the dolls. They love the rainbow men. They love the rainbow men. They love the dolls. Okay? And a lot of them are seeking relationships with us, even to this day. But yeah, child, he had money. He gave me money. He gave me money automatically, but if I ever needed anything, he would, like, on birthdays. I remember I was dealing with him for about a good 5 years consistently in my 20s. And birthdays, like, were always, like, special. And he always got me, like, really beautiful jewelry and things like that. Like, one of my first designer bags, he got me, like, everything. He really, really, like, he was and he's still a good guy. I just had, like, kind of lost contact. And then a part of me is just, like, even now, with all of the uncertainty of this new administration coming in, a part of me is like, should I reach out to him? It's been so many years. I went on to get a really, really good dream job. I think just the last year that I was with him, I had gotten a really big dream job that it just changed my life forever. And I think because I was so busy, and then he was really, really busy, and I think he was up for re-election, we kind of lost contact. We lost contact. And I never thought to, and I think back then when we lost contact, I was growing. I was growing into a woman. I was growing, changing, really just into a spiritual being that wanted to always do right by people and live right and do right. And I just didn't feel comfortable knowing that he had a wife and dealing with him. And so that's probably another reason why we lost contact, and why I was just focused on my career at that point. I had just, like I said, started this amazing gig, and I just wanted to at that point, I think I just wanted to date a rapper or a singer or an actor or someone. Like, I wanted to kind of, like, upgrade to, like, I wanted to date like a rapper. Like I remember, I forgot which rapper I was really attracted to, but I was always bumping into rappers and singers and athletes and things like that at that point. Because like nightlife back in the 90s was everything. Like they had clubs everywhere. Like one of my favorite clubs back then was the Sound Factory Bar on 21st Street with Frankie Knuckles spinning, God rest his soul. The fabulous Frankie Knuckles. Oh God, what was some of the other clubs? I never went to like the clubs where the raunchy girls went or the raunchy, rainbow men went, like the Octagon. I think I might have went to the Octagon once. I didn't like it. I think I may have went to the Warehouse once. I didn't like it. I was going to there was a club. Mainly the clubs that I went to were like below 23rd Street in that area between 23rd and 14th. All the clubs that they had off of 5th Avenue between 5th and 6th. There was a whole lot of amazing clubs between 5th and 6th, like on 21st Street and 19th Street and stuff. Damn, what was the name of that club? There was another club, I believe, on 19th that I used to go to. I forgot it. Mother has lived, and she's getting older. So, oh God, what was the name of that club? Damn it. Anyway, I wish New York, I wish that now. Like, I wish that they could open some clubs, some nightlife for the dolls, especially. That's safe for all of us to go and even, just all of us to go and just chill and whatever. Anyway, that was my story time. Yes, Mother has lived. Okay, she was not an angel. She was down with the get down. Okay, she was about that life and she was ready for whatever. Okay, but yes, he was a great guy and a great politician, a great guy and a great politician. But I guess the moral of the story, the synopsis is these politicians have power, and they have power even with local authorities, because the fact that he just waved that badge/ID, he had an ID and a badge, and just showed it. And they didn't even say anything. They just was like, have a good night. They knew what we were in there doing. Okay. They knew. But they just said, have a good night. He rolled up the window. Okay, we just laughed at each other. We looked at each other and smiled. And I was like, oh my God. He was like, I told you, don't worry about anything. Because I just knew that they were going to harass me and harass him the way they were harassing the other cars, but that didn't even happen. It was interesting. It was a lesson to show you that power, when you have power in this country, you have access to anything and you will never be held accountable. And I guess we can tie that into everything that's going on around us in the government now. But anyway, y'all, that's my little story. Okay, that is my little story. Mother has lived, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I like and subscribe. Okay, you don't have to tell people about my channel. I want to grow my channel organically. Okay. I just need the people that are following me to like and subscribe. And if you're watching this video and you like it, like and subscribe, And because we're going to have a lot of these kind of conversations. Okay. Anyway, I love y'all. Mwah. Bye.